Getting to know someone new requires a bit of work. Starting to like someone new, on the other hand, requires a ton of work. While most of it comes naturally and includes a ton of fun, there's some investigation and effort required in advance on a crush. You might be wondering if he has feelings for you, if he's playing with you, or maybe you're just completely lost as to what the heck he's thinking. Luckily for you, most of these topics are covered in my prior videos, so go check them out if you like. On the easier side of things, there is one way to know if you've been on this guy's mind in a good way. You've got to look for signs that he told his friends about you. Good friends would know our deepest, darkest secrets, but they also know the happy and offsetting things that make us tick. If he starts to talk to his friends about you, you've probably impacted him enough to make him happier. But if you can't ask his friend directly, how could you find this out? Well, I've got your back. Here are 10 signs he told his friends about you. Number 1. When you meet them, it seems like they already know you. Sometimes we meet people and instantly click with them. That's natural and cool. Other times you meet his friends and they seem to only comment on topics that hit way too close to home. You went camping last weekend and they start talking about campsites. You recently start learning guitar and they're asking about your musical abilities? What? You love sushi and they're recommending sushi restaurants without asking? I'm sorry, but have we met before? That's unnatural and suspicious. Either his friends have become your own personal stalker group, or they have already been informed about you from another source, aka this guy. We're going to hope that they were informed. Number 2. When someone in his friend group gets jealous of you. As you start to spend more time with this guy, it's natural that he will have less time to spend it elsewhere. Some people are better at time management, but very few have it down to a T. Most of the time, we get excited to be hanging out with someone who gives us the butterflies, so we cut down on other hangouts with friends or activities. There is a chance that someone in his friend group will take this more personally than the rest. It could be anyone from his best friend to an overly sensitive friend who seems too needy. Maybe he will tell his friends that he's with you and they'll dramatically respond, "Really? Again?" Even though you'll want to roll your eyes at the fact that they're jealous, this is also an indicator that his friend is tired of hearing about you. You are number 1 in this guy's mind and conversation recently, and that's saying something. He's actually putting the boys on the side. Number 3. He invites you to hang out with his friends. When you start to date someone new, you kind of get to mingle around with his friends. What I mean by this is that you'll probably meet their friends early on, and this guy is going to be very attentive to see how you get along with them. Friendship approval is vital for a smooth start to a relationship. It's hard to date someone who their friends hate. When this guy starts to invite you out with him and his friends, this means that he already told him about you and they might have already approved of you. He's talked you up enough for them to want to meet you. It's kind of like an employer who likes your resume, then that employer invites you to an in-person interview. They want to see if you're really as great as what the guy says, so put your best foot forward and make that good impression. Number 4. He posts pictures or stories with you. Give me a random person's social media account and I could write a short summary of their life. I mean, listen, it won't be a biography, but at least I could tell you what and who is important to them. The lives we portray on social media are highlights of our actual lives, so they should include the things we are proud of and what we want other people to see. Strangely enough, most people will associate you with things they see on social media. It's the tech world we live in. If this guy openly posts pictures or stories with you, he has no problem showing the world that you're a part of his life. Now, think about it. Who are the top people who watch your stories, like your posts? Your friends. Guys are no different. If he's posting you out there, either they already know about you or they will soon enough. Number 5. If his friends call or text him, he flat out says he's with you. Guys are different than girls in the fact that they talk less. A girl will rush to her friends about this one date she had or this guy she talked to at the party, but a guy is only going to mention things that hold more ground. He isn't going to call his friends to chat about how great a conversation you two had. Sometimes guys don't talk much, so don't expect his friends to know who you are until this guy is sure that you're worth mentioning. That's why it's a big deal when his friends call and he tells them he's with you. First of all, this means they know who you are, otherwise they would have to ask then and there, and this guy would be forced to explain how you met, since, as I said, guys want to give as few explanation as possible, and nothing comes after that. It's clear that you've already been mentioned to his friends, and that's a big step. Number 6. His friends follow or add you on social media. When we were young, our parents taught us not to talk to strangers. Somehow, over the years, this message seems to have become irrelevant to the online world. We follow and add random people on social media all the time. While this has become the new norm for many, there's one thing we always glance at when we receive that new follower request, that is, the mutual friends. If your only mutual friend is this guy, and especially if you know for a fact that request is coming from one of his close friends, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's not a random friend request. He isn't just friending you because your latest pic is great. This guy has probably mentioned you enough to spark a curiosity in his friends to search for you. He's definitely been talking you up. I know this rarely happens, but when it does, you'll for sure know. Number 7. His friends tease him if he's with you. Whether you are all hanging out together or he gets a call from the boys, when you're chilling with him one-on-one, there's one classic moment when the boys revert to being childish. We all remember being young, don't we? When you were talking to one boy one time and the whole class would say, "You're sitting in the tree, Kissing." This teasing still happens. If not, then it's about something else, if you know what I mean. If you hear his friends start to make comments or jokes about the two of you, it's definitely a sign that they know more than you thought. You get bonus points if your guy turns tomato red when this happens. He's obviously talking about you a little too much and is now getting called out for it. Number 8. His friends ask you about him. Once you meet his friends or they start connecting with you on social media, it's normal for them to reach out in discreet ways. While they wouldn't be asking you about how your day is going, they sure can start to ask you about him. Now, let's remember that they are his friends. They know most things about him, maybe even more than you do at this point, and they definitely have his number in case they need to ask him about anything else. The reason they're going to start asking you about him is to verify that you're a decent person who has genuine intentions with their friend. The friends get this weird parent-like persona and they really just want to protect the feelings of their friend. This is a sweet gesture and it means that this guy not only talks to them about you, but also talks to them about his feelings for you. He has shown that he is getting vulnerable around you, which is huge. Number 9. The friends make an effort to get to know you. After the awkward first introductions are made and the small talk is done, it's time to jump into really getting to know his friends or vice versa. If they're indifferent to your conversation starters and couldn't care less about chit-chatting with you, they don't see you as the person who is going to stick around. If to the contrary, they are making the effort to get to know you better by asking you questions and including you in the conversation, it means they think you have a good shot at being around for the foreseeable future. This, in retrospect, means that this guy or your crush has a good feeling about being with you in the foreseeable future. This effort shows you both that he's been talking about you to his friends and doing so with confidence in your future together. How reassuring is that? Number 10. The friends start inviting you to events. As his friends start to include you in conversations, they might also take the bigger step and start inviting you out to other things. This could include special events, parties, backyard barbecues, you name it. Don't get too excited and think that you'll be invited to a weekend getaway. That might still be in the works, but you can definitely get excited when you're already seen as his +1 for group activities. This means that it's common knowledge that you two go hand in hand with each other, and that is what he wants by letting his friends know. Overall, if you've done your investigating and now know that this guy has definitely told his friends about you, you should celebrate this news. Once he starts opening up to them about you, we know that he's thinking of you in a more serious way. While there's still more effort to be given as you both grow your relationship, Meshing with his friend is a fun new challenge. You'll get to know more about him and hopefully meet more cool people in the process. Use this opportunity to build your own new friendships as well, and remember to be yourself. It's what got this guy to start liking you, and I hope it's the same way with his friends as well. So if anything happens, let me know, and if you like this video, feel free to give it a like and maybe consider subscribing for more weekly uploads. I'll catch you all later. Bye!